Working. Okay. Welcome everyone to the India Mentors Talk series. That is IM Talks, India Mentor Talks. Today, I'm a host. My name is Tadit Dash. I'm an author, speaker, and then software engineer. Today, the topic is on cybersecurity and COVID-19. I have with me the esteemed speaker, whose name is Mr. Col Inderjeet Singh, who is the Chief Cybersecurity Officer and Head of the Cybersecurity Center of Excellence at Mara Technologies. In this role, he is instrumental in building the cybersecurity business unit for the group. He is working on the disruptive technologies in the cybersecurity space for securing IT networks, smart cities, and critical information infrastructure. Okay, so now we'll go to the topic. So, as all of you know, that cybersecurity is a topic which always fascinates the students and software engineers. And moreover, now that in the era of online streaming, internet evolution, like online classes, this topic has become the basic fundamental knowledge for all the citizens. As we all know, that due to COVID-19, the cities are locked down. However, life has not stopped. Everyone is online, doing the daily work from home. Schools have started online classes. Government is also doing meetings online, right? So therefore, it has been seen that the hackers are now active these days, like who interfere with the streamings, do a lot of illegal activities. So my first question to you, sir, is how exactly these hackers are leveraging the platforms or tools that we know or we use regularly to do all these attacks?
Right. And good morning, everyone. Sorry for this delay, which was inevitable, I think, and these were technical glitches do happen at times, and I hope you are with us, and thanks for your support while we are starting late. Guys, as you know that, the COVID has taken world totally aback. And what has happened is that overnight we were being kind of told to get on to work from home environment, and there's a different kind of scenario which has already erupted, which is a really point of concern, and it has altered the way we are doing business right now, and with predominantly remote workforces operating on unsecured home networks. You are aware that corporate security teams are struggling to gain control of rapidly expanding attack surfaces. It's really very huge, and while our teams are really trying to work to get the people work from home, uh, it's at the same time it's really becoming so difficult, to contain these kind of attacks. And the kind of attacks which have primarily happened are really concerning. Of late, though the hackers did tell that we're trying to leave the medical fraternity, the hospitals and institutions, but as a case of mercy, but it's really yet to be seen because there were some attacks on the hospital itself, right? And the things are changing. Now the cyber criminals and state-sponsored advanced threat groups are exploiting COVID-19 pandemic. They're trying to attack network, both around the strategic and the financials. And only on around 10th or 12th of April, they gained control of one of the Portuguese power grid, which is the fourth largest, and they were asking a ransom of 1,580 bitcoins. That amounts to almost $10 billion, $10 million. And what we are primarily seeing is that between January and March, there's so many coronavirus themed phishing lures which have come in. There are malwares which have increased. There are network intrusions which are happening. There are scams which are starting taking place. There's a disinformation campaign, and most of us are falling prey to that. Every day you're seeing, you find a message that there's a claim that there's a cure which has been made for it, there's a vaccine which has been made for it, and then you see a different kind of theories which they're trying to send across the public, right? And to fleece the public, make them lure to these kind of scams, and people are falling for it. Believe me. And these kind of attacks or scams all happening in the surface web, deep web, and dark web. So everywhere across on the internet, if I put it across, is all happening. And uh, this is where we are seeing advanced, never seen before cyber attacks and threats. Right? It's getting difficult for everyone to save our identity, and that's how the complete situation is today. We have to understand. And the pandemic, it has forced people to lock down, doing work from home, and increase the amount of work happening online. So all your networks are stressed out, and you're all working on insecure. Most of you are all working on an insecure network. That's a Wi-Fi from your house, and your laptops may not be patched. You are going on to different sites which have malicious content on it. They have got malicious links on it. You have amount of phishing mails which are coming to you. Just to give you a figure, Google is almost handling 18 million phishing mails every day, and 240 million scam mails which are coming to you daily, right? And that's all coming to your inbox, right? So this is the kind of situation we have been into, and the threat actors have started utilizing this golden opportunity to abuse the panic and discomfort, right? They are conducting special crafted malwares and phishing attacks worldwide, and they're very specific to COVID-19. I'll share with you in the subsequent discussions, as we develop on, how they are, trying to do. Just to give you a feeler of it, in last 2 months, there are more than 100,000, domains which have come up between just to COVID and Corona. And though most of them may not be, kind of malicious, but most of them are. The people are trying to use it. Okay, so that's the kind of situation we are in today. That's where we are seeing ourselves, right? And that's a problematic situation.
That's right. That's a whole lot of information. Like you explained it thoroughly, like the procedures followed by these attackers to interfere and exploit the situation in hand to run their business. So now we understand how they do it. Some of my friends and some of these community members and these viewers have asked this question to put it up in you. The question is like, what are the top threats or what are the common threats which is happening nowadays, and how to make sure that we are not exposed to such threats? As you said, like we are using these insecure Wi-Fi's and everything like that. So how to make sure that we, I mean, what exactly the top threats? We should know it
Okay.
first.
So, all right, I'll give you the threats which have happened of late, and to give you some of the cases which happened, which will be of interest to you. In the Czech Republic, that was a key COVID-19 testing site last month, and it was one of the first medical facilities which was forced to turn away all the patients suffering from serious condition, and they were supposed to postpone surgeries, right? Because it was cyber attacked, and they had to shut down all their computers. That was one of the cases that happened in the month of March. Okay, we all aware WHO. That's the main organization which is actually looking into the complete coronavirus, right? They're the elite hackers itself targeted the WHO, right? And that attack was in early March, and it was a very complex and complicated attack. They have been using, the WHO domain to send phishing mails. Now people are getting due to it. There's another organization called CDC. That's the Center for the Disease Detection and all. So that was also kind of attacked. And there are lots of mails which are coming in your email now today, which are from the WHO telling you that these are the kind of guidelines which are there. These are the kind of do's and don'ts which are there. So we are in fact, put into a trap in the name of WHO itself. And there were some of the applications which came with the name of WHO and made people to download. Right? Then there was an interesting, while we are talking of the applications, I would like to mention here one of the applications that was a mobile application which came up, that was called the Corona Update. Okay, and that Corona Update application, once you install, it was primarily giving you all the details, all the updates of coronavirus, how the viruses are being spread, and what's the reach and all the stuff, what we need to do. But it was a malware. And it was stealing all your data, your messages, your WhatsApp messages, your details, your SMSs, your IMI number, your IMSI number. Okay, and everything which was pertaining to you was being sniffed, and the data was being taken away. And some of the ransomware attacks also happened subsequently. Right. Then there are also e-commerce sites. They have been compromised, and that's the exposure which is pretty huge. And there's almost 26% increase in web skimming in the month of March itself. So you can just see how the hackers are leveraging this situation, because all the physical deliveries are down. You cannot reach up to the market, so they're all going onto the e-commerce sites, putting you to the grid. Right. And while we talk of, everybody talks of Zoom, everybody talks of Skype, WebEx, GoToMeeting, Slack, Join Me. There's so many applications, web conferencing applications which are there. They're also not devoid of the malware attack and the adware attacks which are happening. There are almost 120,000 attacks which happened on them in the last couple of years. Okay, they have been giving the malware which has been disguised along with the application, the adwares which are coming up. So the user is getting lured to use them, and they're trying to steal away data. Right. Then we try to talk of something on a Zoom bombing. That's very interesting, because that's the most talked about topic today when everybody is talking the Zoom bombing. Right. And that's one which has taken.
I would interrupt you for a second. Like, some of our viewers are saying that your voice is breaking. You check your noise.
Yeah, am I okay? No, that's okay. Am I audible?
Yeah, better now, she says. Yeah.
Okay, right. So, Zoom bombing. And the Zoom bombing was where you had people, just get crashing into your Zoom calls. Okay, and that had taken aback a lot of companies, a lot of organizations, even the kids who are doing their class. They had to face this agony. It's a new normal. It never happened before. And to put it across, there were almost 5 lakh user accounts of the Zoom, which was sold in the darknet. And these attacks, these credentials, could be used for the DOS attacks. Right. So it's a vicious circle. That's how the attacks are happening. That's how attacks are taking place. Then there are a number of other attacks which have happened, but I want to discuss it here. But the list goes on, and every day there is something or the other. Right. These are the kind of attacks which happen. Number one. Right. Telling about how the threat actors are leveraging the COVID-19 pandemic, you'll be surprised. And the phishing mails have gone up to 600%, right? Driven by criminals looking to capitalize on the pandemic. It's 600%, right? Phishing mails. So it's a point of concern for all of us. That's why the cyber threats are the point of discussion, right? And what they do about these phishing attacks or the phishing mails? They are not just mails to give you, filling up your email accounts or boxes. They are either the scams, or they are the brand impersonation, or they are the business email compromise, right? So there are 3 types of things what they try to do. Remember, And if you look at it, how the threats are moving, and they are being moving as the complete, the coronavirus has been moving. Initially, they targeted Asia, then they targeted Europe, and they had very specific language, very specific malwares, very specific spear phishing attacks, which were taking place. And it was observed that all these campaigns were multi-language. They had multiple attachment. In the sense, the same malware will be different, putting across different payloads. So that is how they were doing it. And like I told you, there were more than 100,000 COVID-19 web domains which came up, and it's, which are to be treated by suspicion. When you talk of the scams which have actually come up, right? And most of you are actually facing it. In WhatsApp, you're seeing every day somebody giving you a message. We got a PPE kit, we got a mask which is there with us. We got the kind of the tunnel to pass through. All the scammers are taking use of the opportunity. They're trying to sell counterfeit version of medical supplies that are short in supply. Okay. They're tricking users to buying fake cures. You come to know there's an immediate test kit which is available. And believe me, there's the WHO guidelines on the test kits are very specific, right? Similarly, the cures which we talk of, the medicines which we talk of, they're all like the fly-by-night operator. They try to fleece you. They're giving it, right? Then they give you an investment opportunity itself, and most of you would have got it, right? They're offering the opportunities in companies they're claiming to have the cure. So you try to, get into their trap, right? And this is how they are, and this is not stopping here, right? And there are other threat actors, which are the state-sponsored attacks. State-sponsored means they're being operated by the governments, like the APT 36, which is very prominent. Fin7. There's a Maze ransomware group which was very active, and they attacked Cognizant yesterday. Then I told you about the Portuguese power grid being down altogether. So these are all sophisticated threat actors, right? And their sophistication of the attack is likely to increase. It's not coming down, right? And one attack which though it's not concerning pandemic, but it's really surfaced out again very recently, is the sextortion. That you get a mail immediately in your mailbox where they say that we have seen you, having a pornographic site visit, and we have the video of it. We have made a recording of it. So now you pay a Bitcoin. So the solution to this is, first, check your the domain from which it is coming. You will find most of the time it's coming from the fake malicious domains. Number one. Number two, you can check out on a site called Bitcoin Abuser, right? Bitcoinabuse.com, to check the wallet from the wallet which he's telling you to put the money into. So you will check it up that if you check, most of the time it happens that he's the guy who's being trying to do this kind of activities all across the world, and you will find that he's laid a trap on you. So just neglect those kind of mails if it comes to you, right? So this is how the threats are evolving. Started the list goes on and on, and but this, to be very concise, I thought I will put it across in this manner.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Like a lot of ways these actors are behaving and taking the situation into consideration to attack us. So let's come to the most common way of attack, which is now happening on the Zoom or online meeting platforms. What we do, like these online classes has also started on Zoom for the students, and we as software engineers working from home, we uh, communicate everything on this Zoom software, the clients and everything. So non-disclosure things and everything. So what do you think? Like, what? Why exactly these meeting softwares are vulnerable to these attacks? Is there a basic reason behind it? How to avoid that?
Okay, just to let's discuss something on the Zoom first. Then I'll just tell you, because every meeting software will have some kind of pluses and minuses. Even there was which came off Namaste .in, and I was trying to check on that. It's got its own vulnerability in the code itself, right from the beginning, which
Okay.
everybody's told that kind of the just to tell you the Zoom, what it happens and what's there, and just to give you a feeler of the Zoom. Zoom firstly they had a very interactive GUI. It was easy to fix the kind of meetings, easy to join, right? And it was like very user friendly. That's why we saw this platform, usage from 10 million to almost 200 million in the month of March.
Right.
Okay, that's the kind of thing which happened immediately. And but the hackers were always being very active. And what the problem with the Zoom is, suddenly why Zoom bombing has become a major issue. In addition to the Zoom bombing, there's something more which I'd like to say. The Zoom software can let the hackers spy through your computer's webcam and the microphone. That seldom people come to know. Okay, and it's got a tons of security and privacy issues, though they're told that they've been able to take care of it. One part was that it was sharing your data with Facebook. Okay, even if you're not a Facebook user. Okay, that's very alarming. And so they immediately plugged it. The CEO of Zoom immediately plugged it up, and they were always lying about the end-to-end encryption. So practically, even the site which claimed that they were end-to-end encryption. And believe you me, this is an application where the CEO was a poster boy in the month of February this year in US. Okay, and they claimed to have end-to-end encryption, but it didn't have, right? And there were again zero-day flaws which were there, the vulnerabilities which were there, and they were giving the privilege to the root privileges to any. That means anybody could get into your data of your machine if required. Now, having said so, the hackers started exploiting it because one, I told you about the encryption and the microphones. Some bit because whenever you are sending the kind of links for Zoom, you always see that there's a 9-digit code which was there earlier, right? Which was very easy to create, and most of the time, you're not using the password to protect that meeting. So it happened. If you're easy access to it, you could create it and get into the meeting. Okay, and Zoom bombing, I told earlier, it really disrupted a lot of meetings. The point came up that kids were being, had to face this kind of agony when the class was on and they had to see the pornography which got flashed during their call, which is very unfortunate in this kind of situation. But that's what the hackers are. They don't have any kind of love lost for anyone. For them, it's just a fun. Okay, so that's what they were able to do it. Okay, and so Zoom isn't perfect, but at the same time, I'll tell you, presumably no video conference tool is perfect, right? So you have to make use of whatever tool is there if it meets your requirement, and it's like it's meeting the basics of yours. I think that's enough. But if it is a confidential, if it is the sensitive content which you are discussing or talking on online, I think then you have to be really thinking of which video conferencing tool to use it. So there are plenty of them. There are GoToMeeting, which is there, WebEx, which we're already using it, Skype, Hangout. Even schools are now going on to Google Meets, Microsoft Teams. So all of them, some bit of them are paid, so that can be used. Some of the points which I will like to emphasize here for all the users: if you're using any meeting, you ensure that whenever you have the meeting which is automatically generated, so ensure that it's not given to everyone across the board or published online. It should be given to only the people who are like concerned or the people who would attend the meeting. Have a meeting password. That's a must, right? And don't share the meeting ID and the password in one go. That's what we are actually doing. Most of the banners, if you see, most of the, where they've been saying that this is the video conferencing which is going to happen, and you have the password also along with it. Okay, so that's very problematic. Then you probably go in for a waiting room kind of concept, where all the users onto the meeting. So there's a waiting room. So before the meeting starts, you're waiting your attendees who are there. Okay. Then disable all the audio video for all the attendees, right? And let you unmute the people as and when it's required. They can raise a hand and show it. And the major part is that the screen sharing, right? That should be there with only. Okay, it should not be there with everyone and anyone who can just share the screen now. So these are the kind of do's and don'ts when it comes to Zoom, when it comes to the video conferencing which are there. But remember that this is a new normal, right? And these online meetings are not going to finish now. It's going to continue for some time more, right? I think till we overcome the COVID-19 and its distance, quite distant now when we overcome. So travels are not going to happen. Business travels are not going to happen. We are not going to be like standing so close to each other. So at least all video conferencing tools are going to be most lucrative to be used, and that's how we're going to be communicating with each other. Right. So do the validation of it, work out the pluses and minuses of it, and then only practically go in for any platform which you want. Right, Tadit?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. So with this, let me ask you one question, which is asked by Dr. Pooja. The question is like, is there any law related to cyber threats? Let's say I caught someone who is sending me phishing mails and threatening me. What are the laws under what I can take the action?
So practically, there are no new laws which have been made, but Indian IT Act 2000 has got elaborative details on anybody who's sending you phishing mails. So you can always complain in the cybercrime.gov.in on that, and you can register your complaint and file your complaint against them, whosoever is sending you a phishing mail, with the complete details of the header. So that you need to do. You can register a complaint.
Yeah. But what a common man do, like as you said, like we are getting a lot of phishing mails, or somebody directly comes to your Zoom meeting and then you don't know. So what exactly a common man do to make himself or herself protected? As you said, there is also ways to attack the Wi-Fi and come to the network and do a lot of stuff. So what exactly the common man do?
Right. Okay. So practically, I'll just tell you what a common man has to do, because I don't think everybody is going to be a cyber savvy or the cyber security. So what you need to do, what are the things which can help you, be safe. Just to give you one perspective here is that when we talk of the COVID-19, and we were all made to work. Practically, we never thought of that situation to come, that we will be working from home. So the challenges which are being faced by the common man At the same time, the organizations were like, the organizations never put in place their BCP, that business continuity, plan tests at this scale. So it was like a challenge for them to, work it out as to how the business continuity plan can be, worked out. What are the challenges? They never thought of the cyber risk which was emanating and which is now also. Things have not died down, though we have started working from home. But the business continuity plan, the cyber risks are still live, right? We are still working on it. And we are not ready for the transition and run businesses from home. And even everybody else, whosoever is listening, they know it that we are all struggling as to how we are going to overcome this new norm. How our businesses are going to work, how our customers we are going to interact with, how are we going to have the business meetings now, since there's no travel, right? And the other thing which was a problem was that most of the organizations, they have their on-prem servers, on-prem machines which are there, and suddenly now if you're working from home, how do we do it? It's not just taking your laptop and you're connected. That's the least which you're doing. But there's a whole lot of things which we need to be doing about as to how you're going to be connected to the organization. How is your data going to be given to you? What are the policies of the data access which is there? How you're going to make your VPNs connected, to your organizations? How are you going to get the update? So lots of things. Then it was like employees who are working. How do I? I'm working from home, but what about my employee attendance? Did you ever think of it? So those were the kind of questions which came up. And managing customers, managing your third-party suppliers. Okay, so that was another thing which came up. And the one more thing which was there was working from home was the most easiest. But how are you looking into the pandemic stress? How are you taking care of your sustained culture of this nature? So what you should do when you're working from home? The question is, it's irreversible at this point in time. So first is have a cyber hygiene. When I say cyber hygiene, that means it maintain a good password hygiene, right? You should use complex passwords. You should also have a multi-factor authentication. That's very important because to avoid the scams or anybody getting into your machines, have a multi-factor authentication. And change passwords as frequently as possible. Update systems and softwares, whatever applications you have, whatever systems you have to install updates and patches on a very timely manner. And update your mobile phones as well, right? Update the other non-corporate devices that you might be using over. So you should keep your things updated. Keep your antivirus definitions updated. Right, secure your Wi-Fi access point. Right, and we're all aware. Most of us have the Wi-Fi routers which are there with just the default settings and the passwords. Right, and that's a huge area where attack can happen on the connected devices. Okay. Now, other thing which is of interest is that use VPN. That's with the organization, and if you have a corporate VPN which you're already using it, try and use it, right? Don't say it's just a kind of too difficult for me to handle a VPN. But VPN, it will protect you against phishing attacks, it will protect you against some malware attacks, right? And it's kind of one protection which is there with you. Right. So, other which is there because you're going to be using your laptops, your machines for accessing sites other than your office sites or data. So, don't mix your personal work with your private work. Okay. So, don't install any app or any software. If you have the access rights to download it, don't do that. Okay, and we are at times, we are trigger happy, kind of a click happy. So we try to click all the mails which are coming to our, inbox, and if we are also trying to, download or see what this link is all about. And remember, those links are all tiny links, tiny URLs. Okay, so those can be phishing emails. They may be malicious domains. There may be fake apps which are being widely, published and, given out. Right. The threat actors love to exploit real-world tragedies, and COVID-19 is no different. So they are exploiting this situation which has come up. So try to use that. If you're a more technical, then you can go in for a DLP, okay, which can protect you against your leakages which are there in data. So that also is there. So those are the kind of things which you should be using it as a normal user.
That's a whole lot of information regarding how to exactly prevent myself from these attacks. Like prevention is better than cure. That is what it is. So
Yeah,
as you said, like
for sure, that's how we should look at.
so what's DLP? As you said, DLP. Can
So it's a data leakage prevention. So if you have in your machine, so you can find out which are the malicious links which are there, which are the phishing links which are coming up, and it gives you the web protection to your machine. So it gives you also the data protection to the machine. So any attack or the vulnerability which is coming up to you, it gives you alert, right? So that's what it gives you. One thing which I wanted to tell that if you're using the office machines, the best thing to protect your office data is to encrypt the complete hard disk itself. So you should have a full disk encryptor, so that in case of any problems which are there, your data is not lost. So that's what you should do when it comes to protecting your data.
one more thing I got you from your explanation. So you said like we should have good passwords and we should change it frequently. So you have seen like on the Chrome when you go to a website and sign up, it suggests to a good password. Chrome suggests to use a password. Should we use that or avoid that?
So it doesn't suggest you a good password. The thing is, what it tells you that it should have capital, it should have the special characters, it should be lower characters, you should have the alphanumerics which are there. So any password which is 9 alphanumeric characters, I think that's really good, and we should use or change those passwords on a 15 days basis or a 1 month basis, depending on what is the application or the site what you use.
Gotcha. Okay, with this I'll
Because
go.
because why it says 8 or 9 or 10 or 12, if I apply my power to break that particular password, it takes time to break that password. Okay, so that is how the complexity, number of permutation and combination you require to break that password. Now, amount of power which you require to, computed power which you require to break that password is much higher. Okay, so that is not easily broken. So that's how it works out.
Okay, I'll take another question, which is from Himanshu. He says, "What should the Zoom type app do to make the data secure?" I think we already answered that. If you want
Yeah,
to add something,
I've already told you, but Zoom has tried to secure your from their side. They have tried to do it, but I already brought out 4 5 as to how you should secure your Zoom call if you're happening. And I'll say here, though we have the advisory from Government of India, which has already been populated to everyone of the non-usage of Zoom for the government employees and the government machinery. So that's already in place. But do's and don'ts of Zoom, if you still have to use it, I try to give those points, right? lock your conference call, don't share your password, don't share your screen, don't share your meeting ID. So all those things, and update your Zoom application, right? But still, they have some vulnerabilities, and most of the applications do have vulnerabilities where they can exploit that. Like I told you, that it could exploit your webcam and your mic. It could also exploit your hard disk. Okay, so that's the kind of exploits which are available. Right.
Gotcha. Okay, next question is from Gaurav Saxena, who asks that the question is like, as Mr. Singh has highlighted, the most of shopping sites has been compromised. What a normal user can do as the precautions, especially with well-known shopping sites or payment gateways.
So have your browser updated, right? How do they try to get into the shopping sites? One, if you do ad blocker, which is there, you would have seen that anytime when you're getting onto a site, okay, and the same kind of photograph is there, which is available on other browsing sites which you're trying to browse. So some of the keys are: one, download a ad blocker, right? Download the kind of application, sorry, download kind of extension which stops all the scripts which are running behind. Because most of the time, what they're trying to, most of the browsers, especially the Google, what it is trying to do is it's trying to fingerprint you. Okay, fingerprint in the sense that it's trying to take a view of all your activities, what you're trying to do on that browser. And most of the sites, that's what they are doing. So some points. One, you can try to use DuckDuckGo. It's a more secure and more privacy-oriented browser. Okay, or you can use a browser called Brave. That's a very nice browser which is there today, and much better than Chrome if you're trying to go onto any e-commerce site. And it avoids the fingerprinting, because that's how the browsers try to find out who you are, and when you return what they are there. And based on your browsing history, they try to push those ads. Okay, and you can also switch off your location. So that's a location which is going along with the browser, so you can switch it off. So these are some of the points which you can take care of, while you're browsing any of the sites.
So, Mr. Puneet asks Mr. Singh, is there a way to find out if an app is end-to-end encrypted? Interesting.
So it's only if that is being tested. As a normal user, you cannot find it out. Most of the apps may say they are end-to-end encrypted, but if you are tech savvy, you can go onto the net and find out that particular app, because most of the people do check those apps for vulnerability. Like I told you, that cfinvastate.in site, I'm just forgetting the very common, very new video conferencing app which people say is Indian made. It has got a low dash vulnerability. Okay, and that vulnerability is there, which can cause a lot of harm to video conferencing. So till the time you have the application security which has been done, somebody has done the end-to-end testing of that app, you cannot, a common user or normal user will not be able to find it.
Okay, I have another question which is from Srishti. She says, is Hangout Meet itself for video conferencing?
Yeah, Hangout is a video conferencing which is there, which comes with the Gmail for the Gmail customers. So you can create a meeting with a small group of meeting. So that is always possible. But a Google Meet is a commercial model which has been floated by Google. So that you can do it. And I think in Google Hangout, the number of people you can have is around 10, not more than 10. But it's not got the feature of recording. You cannot have a recording facilities in it. Okay, so you can't do that. Uh, that's the difference from the Google Meet, which is there. And Google Meet, like I told, it's a commercial model. It comes with a G Suite. You can have almost up to 140, 150 people, which can be part of that meeting. And Google Meet, they're giving it free as of now. Like I told you, even the Teams, which is coming up, Microsoft Team, they're giving it free of cost with Office 365.
Okay. With this, we come to another question, which is kind of interesting. Himanshu says, like, if someone hacks from my program, what should I do? How do I recover data, and where to complain? With this, I'll attach another question from Dr. Pooja, who says, do we have a data privacy policy in India? So these questions are on the same line.
I will come to the second question first.
Okay.
You are supposed to have the data privacy law, which is on the anvil. And last year, November, we had the group of ministers which have been nominated for it. They are going through that and ratifying it. And I think anytime that data privacy law should be in place for us. And once the data privacy law comes in, we'll have a lot of advantages. Number one advantage, which I always feel, is that you're going to have the data localization, because till now we don't have the data localization, and that's the point of contention. Because whether it's Google, Microsoft, or your Facebook, or any other, or Twitter, whosoever it's there, they have their servers or the databases which are there abroad. So once the data localization comes in, you're supposed to have a copy of the data in India itself, right? And in addition, there are lots of other points which are there, which are interesting for all of us. And once that data privacy law comes up, that's a very strict law. It's on the lines of the GDPR itself. Okay, so we will be highly protected when it comes to the data privacy, and each organization will is to have thereafter, like a CIO or a CISO or a CTO, data privacy officer. Okay, so the DPO is also going to be there, who's going to ensure that there's no data leaks which are there's no violations of the data of any kind. So that is one. The first question, if you repeat again, Tadit.
Yeah, so that was yeah. If someone hacks data from my program, what should I do? How do I recover data, and where to complain?
So I'd like to understand from the program. I didn't get your point. If you could elaborate that.
Yeah, Himanshu, please elaborate if you are there. Okay, in the meantime, we can take another question, which is there any public repository where I can find the data related to cyber threats? Asked by Dr. Pooja again.
There is, as of no public repository, but yes, if you look at it, there are places where I can show you a site where you do have the threats which are happening on and off. It's not pertaining to India; it's all over. So you have a lot of inputs, and each threats which is there is generally tried to be captured. So there you have a lot of sites. I'll stand corrected. You do have a lot of sites which can give you these kind of details. So we can take this query offline. I can give you kind of sites which can be of use to you.
Thanks. So next question is from Dr. Gaurav Arora. If my system is never connected to internet and would not connect in the future, in this case, still I have threat of cyber attack?
I didn't get your question again, please.
So he says, if my system is not connected to internet, or I don't have any plans to connect that in the future, will I be still a threat for the cyber attack?
So it's like you can be attacked anytime. Okay, whether you have intention of connecting or not, if you're vulnerable, okay, and if you get onto a internet, you're definitely vulnerable. You can be attacked anytime. It's not that you're going offline and you're putting the system off. But when you switch it off, if you have vulnerabilities, if you have the systems which have not been patched, and you're on the radar, you definitely will be attacked.
Yeah. So the question was like, if he doesn't connect to internet, I mean, or in the future he don't have any plans to connect to internet. So it's like no
So there's
connection
nothing.
whatsoever.
If
Okay.
you're offline, see,
Yeah.
for example, if you're offline, so there's no threats of that nature.
Gotcha.
Unless and until you're trying to use a USB and pen drive, and if that is in, then you bring in that virus or malware to the pen drive itself.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's correct. One more question from Dr. Puja, who says WhatsApp says messages are end-to-end encrypted and they store the hash, but not the actual text. As a novice user, how should I make sure whether it is end-to-end encrypted or hashed?
See, it's like this. When it's on your mobile and you have the messages which are end to end, that's end to end encrypted and they keep the hash. Secondly, if you're taking that backup of that messages on your Google Drive, and there it's not anymore, end to end encryption. So you have to understand those kind of things. So your end to end encryption finishes the moment you're trying to save it on the Google Drive.
So if anyone have the access to my drive, then he can easily get my messages.
Yeah.
Is that what's Yeah, I think we are done with the questions. If anyone has any other question, okay, I got another question. What are the career paths in cyber ethics?
So, cyber ethics career paths, if you're in, since I think everybody is already an expert in it, but if you really want to get into it, the start point will be the cyber ethical hacking course, which one can do. And if you really need to pursue the next stage of it, you can get into more expert. Is that CISSP is another course which you can do it. If you want to be into the offensive part of it, then you can do the OSCP. Or if you want to get on to the kind of auditing, then you do the CISA or the CISN. Okay, so these are very professionally accredited courses, and they have a market value today, where it also gives you the domain expertise and the kind of jobs also, which can be.
I got another one from Dr. Puja who says, "What are the career paths if someone wants to make a career in cyber domain?" I think this is the same one, right?
Yeah, that's yeah. The other question I have very interesting from Dr. Puja again. No, hackers are not all cyber experts are not hackers. Okay, I will put them in 2 to 3 buckets. One are the hackers. Second are the cyber sleuths. Okay, who actually get investigative side, and third are the cybersecurity, who ensure that the security has been taken care of your network. So all experts are not hackers. So three different flavors of the same thing. Um, uh, that's how the expertise is being gained. So hackers are into the different kind of expertise which they gain, and they will get into it. Like the hacking itself, like you asked earlier, like in the cyber domain. So you become a black hat hacker, and you gain the expertise. If you are into the sleuth, that's an investigator. Then you get into the vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, malware analysis, reverse engineering, and those kind of domains. If you're into the security, then you actually get into the deception technologies, the zero trust solutions, okay, the DLPs, the EDRs, right? So DNS protections, all those kind of different technologies which you'll be using. So different set of technologies used by the different set of people.
Okay, that was an interesting one. Yeah. Himanshu, if you were there, please explain the question what you have already asked. We need more information on that. Otherwise, I guess we are done. Another one. As a medical professional, what are the chances if I want to get into cyber?
You can get into the cybersecurity part of it. I think that's pretty interesting. And how as a medical professional, you should know, you have to understand one thing. Now, all your devices in the medical domain, they are all IoT enabled. And you know it, it's all sensor based. And all your, like, even your kind of all your heart machines, your X-ray machines, your MRI machines, they're all enabled with IoT. They're coming with the AI, they're coming with the machine learning and all those things which are happening, right? Now, if you want to gain expertise in that, right? So what you need to do is learn the cybersecurity part of it, learn the IoT security part of it. When I say the IoT security, what's the threats? How are you going to take care of that? What are the protections, which the software which you can use it? Those kind of things. If you are able to put it, what are the vulnerabilities which can be there? Say, for example, I'm sitting here. I want to hack anybody, a hacker who wants to hack a medical or a hospital in somewhere in US. It's very much possible today. But the people in US hospital, they should be all aware of how to protect their IoTs, how to protect their machines. So they have to have the complete set of the cybersecurity, which is there with any other organization. It's so when I say this, so hospitals are the most vulnerable today because you have all the life-saving devices which are connected on all the sensors, and they're all connected to the internet. So how do you secure them? This security is more than the normal network security or a critical information infrastructure security. So that's pretty important.
We got another one from Dr. Puja, who says, what is dark web? Is it required to learn and understand it for every cyber gurus?
So dark web, if you not required to be understood by every cyber guru, but yes, you should be aware of it. What's happening in the dark. So the point which I want to bring about the dark web is what you see today, the internet. That's only 4% of the internet. The remaining 96% of the internet is the deep web and the dark web. When I say the dark web and the deep web is, the difference here is that anything which is not linkable, anything which is not hyperlinked, that can go as a deep web. So what you see, your Gmails, your Facebook, your Twitter, they all fall in the place of your surface web or your e-commerce sites. If you want to keep your medical records, if you want to keep your research work, if you want to keep your financial company data, a company's financial data, if you want to store in all your critical data which you find that everybody should not access, you can keep it in the deep web. That's the middle session, right? And the third part is the dark web, and that is being used by most of the criminals today. Okay, so if you're looking from the drug traffickers who are there, your ISIS is there, your terrorist guys are there, and you want to buy any kind of counterfeit currencies. You can talk to a hacker, you can talk to a terrorist, you can talk to the culprits, you can buy a weapon. So everything is possible there, right? But to reach that, you have to have a special browser, which is called Tor browser. So that's how a dark web is all about it. So everybody doesn't have to get into a dark web. And that is very minuscule part of the overall internet. But that's the most complex and complicated part of the internet. So everybody cannot reach there. So I will advise, if you have no reason to go there, don't go there. Right?
Okay. We got another question from Rajesh, who has this question in mind, like, can we try to learn cybersecurity on public domain in place of a local lab?
Yes, there are a lot of courses which are there, Rajesh, and on Coursera itself, there are a lot of courses. You can start from the basics of the cybersecurity and then go on to the stages from the basics to the mid-level to advanced, and then you can pick up various kind of topics which you want to understand. Okay, so like I told you, you have three types of cyber experts. So think of which you are, and based on that, then once you know the basics of the cybersecurity, you can now get onto the expert part of it. Here, you can pick up a particular course, right? Maybe on the security of the organization, how it's been done. And there are a number of ebooks which are there. We can always share ebooks if they're not a problem. So that can be given to.
Sounds good. We'll try to follow up with
Not
Rajesh and
compulsory. It is not compulsory. It's not compulsory that you have to have hands-on experience and then only you become a cyber expert. So there are lots of things which we can learn while in the public domain and the understanding part of it. Because using a tool of a penetration testing or a vulnerability assessment, so those can be left to the younger age. And to tell you one thing here, though age is not a factor, but cyber hackers, the younger guys are more interested in getting into using all the tools and trying to learn over it. So that can be always made use of if you're wanting to use for your professional use as well.
So Rajesh has a comment like, see, he says like for practical in real life and real time as red team.
Say again.
He says for practical in real life and real time.
Yeah.
So he has the comment to the previous
Yeah,
question.
elaborate this particular question. Will like to answer to you. So for practical, yes, if you are a part of a team, then you should know how to do the vulnerability assessment. So there are a lot of tools on the vulnerability assessment that can be done. Second, for the penetration testing. So again, here there are lots of tools. So there are automated tools as well, which are there. A lot of companies have come up with even a one-click tool kind of stuff. So those have to be learned if you are part of that VAPT team. Okay, so that can be always done. You can read through it. There are tools which are available online on the net, which you can use it and try and figure out how it works and what best it can be used to as part of the red team.
Yes, Mr. Puneet will be sharing the ebooks if we can after getting it from Mr. Singh. Anything else? Yeah, that's all. I guess we have for now. I hope Colonel Inderjeet sir, you will share some ebooks. What you said, you'll share to our
Yeah,
attendees. Yeah, thanks for that. So thanks
fair
everyone for
enough.
joining this session on a Sunday, which is kind of
I think
interesting.
Pooja wants to ask some question. I think we can take that.
Okay, sure, sure. Did I miss any? Can you ask my questions?
You can ask Pooja for the question if she has.
Yep. Dr. Pooja, please ask your questions if I missed some. I want to make a career path in cyber. I am a medical professional. Then what path I choose?
Um, Very simple. Like I told you, if for taking up a career path, I think the cybersecurity path is the best thing. And the basic course which you should do yourself, you can get into the auditing part of it. That's pretty interesting. You don't have to get into the nuts and bolts of getting to the tool side, but do a cyber audit, get into the cyber risk management, the business continuity plan for the cyber, the cloud security, which is interesting. So those are the stages which you can do. Okay, so first understand the cybersecurity, the online courses which are there. Just read through that. Maybe you do a cyber ethical hacking course, which will give you a perspective of what the cyber is all about. Okay, that's where you can get into then the CASSP, which I already told, and also side by side get into the cyber risk management, the cyber auditing. Okay, cyber the business continuity. So this will be a big, very nice concoction while you are from the medical field and you're able to risks of the hospitals or the medical itself, have the business continuity of the hospital. You can make them shift to the cloud for their data. So those kind of things will be very, or doing the ISO 27001 for the hospitals, because that domain expertise or the knowledge of your, from the medical side, dovetailed with the cyber, would be very nice and very good combination.
Okay. So she says, like, what are these online courses? And if I'm taking this from home, uh, can I be sure that I'm not missing anything, like taking these online courses?
So it's like this, the online courses are the starting or the beginning of your cyber journey. That will actually give you a basic perspective, which I just told you. Once you're done with these courses, because there's no mobility, there's no movement outside, at least you're making the best of it right now. Okay, and at least you get the hands on these particular things. Then you start picking up, like I told you, pick up ISO 27001 course, which is coming up. Then pick up the cyber risk management, the business continuity, and take that path uh, of the cybersecurity, which is very different and very good and very highly payable also at the same time. And then also you can get into the data protection law. So you can become a DPO of any hospital or any health organization where you are ensuring that there's no data privacy violation which happens.
Okay. So I just have one announcement. Like Dr. Puja already asked this question, and I want to answer all of you. Like, if any one of you are interested to, get notification about future webinars or events from India Mentor, so you can do one thing, like mail us at info@indiamentor.com. Say that you are interested. We'll add you to the WhatsApp group or a mailing list or something else, so that you get notified whenever we schedule a session. Thanks. Any other question? Anyone?
So thank you very much. I think we're done, and thanks, and stay safe. Be cyber safe, very importantly. And in the testing time, I think we should guard against all the cyber threats and any vulnerabilities. And there's no cyber attack which happens on you as an individual or your organization. So that's what should be our aim.
Thanks. Thanks, Colonel. Thanks everyone for joining this session on a Sunday. Uh, and thanks to Colonel for sharing his thoughts on cybersecurity and how to exactly prevent ourselves from this attacks in this pandemic. And just for information for all of you, like we are coming with another cyber series of cyber sessions for the students specifically. So that's on list. Thank you, Shubhi ma'am, for organizing this session, and India Mentor to start this IM talks, which is kind of interesting. We will invite mentors and we'll do webinars and publish that to YouTube, hopefully. So thanks everyone. I
Thank you.
guess